Do you want to know the reason why this country is the way it is? Well, let's go back to history class because I'm pretty sure y'all were taught history, about what happened with Jim Crow, with slavery, and all that other jazz, right? Let's go back to 1619, okay? This is actual history, okay? What did white people do to black people? Ah, that's right. They lynched them in trees. Okay. Was their house redlined? Ah, no, there wasn't. Ah, okay. That makes sense. Okay, so now let's talk about today. We have people like Kitty Paquita. We have people like Fishbrain, Vampiric, Sped Noodles, who loves to dehumanize people. Ooh, I see someone getting successful more than me. So how can I blame someone else for my own shitty life? And that's literally what's happening right now. You have Kitty Paquita, who has alt accounts after alt accounts on her YouTube channel. And there's one account that has cases, like the Portal 2 TV case, the Kushiba Kudo-kun case, the Modern Sonic case, the Aiden case, the Ruby Rose case. But nothing about the Kitty Paquita case, where she's okay with a white supremacist being president in the White House. Nothing about the Kitty Paquita case, where she's okay with her church literally talking about, oh, I don't know, rapings and, consensual assault of minors. Right? She's okay with talking about black people, dehumanizing brown people. She's okay with being a schadenfreude. But she's not okay when a white minority calls her out. Ooh, be afraid, people, be afraid. If you can convince the lowest white man that he is better for the economy, he will not notice you picking his wallets. He will not notice you picking your wallets. Hell, give him somebody to look down on. Lyndon B. Johnson. He said that. I wonder, why is it that I still call out the atrocities of the entire planet? Why is it that I call out Kitty Paquita? Why is it that I call out Sped Noodles? Why is it that I call out Vampiric and everybody else? It's not because of the economy. It's because I give a damn. Because I care. I care about value, not quantity. I don't care about a fucking dollar. And now, you got Kitty Paquita posting on her post saying, oh, rent free, rent free, rent free. Ooh, somebody lives rent free. Oh, Shirokokris lives rent free in my head. Okay. I seen your page, Kitty Paquita. Was your house redlined? Were you pulled over by a cop? Were you there on January 6th? Ah, you weren't there. Ah, okay. We're going to make that clear. You weren't there because you were okay with officers being beaten. Right? This is it. This is it. This is the issue. This is why the country is the way it is. Because 77 million idiots, including Kitty Paquita and Sped Noodles, would rather be in their silence and be okay with voting for an adjudicated rapist, a fascist authoritarian president, than rather the most qualified president or the most qualified candidate in the history of the United States. Kamala Harris. Because you want to know why? Because it is beneficial for Kitty Paquita to go through. It is beneficial for a homeless man to go through an eye of a needle than it is for Kitty Paquita to enter into the kingdom of heaven. In as much as Kitty Paquita did not talk about the recent death of Lorenzo Salgado in her Facebook page or her YouTube page, she did not talk about Jesus Christ. So, Kitty Paquita, did you did you ever open up to your parents about how you voted for an adjudicated rapist in the White House in your silence? Did you ever open up to your parents about how your house wasn't redlined? Or how you wasn't pulled over? But because you're white, you get a pardon. But if it's a brown person coming from Mexico, but if Robert E. Lee takes a knee, right? He's a son of a bitch, right? And because, this is what Kitty Paquita supports. She supports Nazis. Why do you think she loves it when ICE kills immigrants? And Kitty Paquita, just curious, because you're Christian, what did Leviticus chapter 19, verse 33 say? To love thy what as thy what? Love thy neighbor as thyself, for you were born out from the midst of what? Of Egypt. Does that mean hate your enemy? Oh, right. When they do something wrong, you don't want God to forgive you for your sins, right? So you don't want to forgive others that hurt you. You don't want to forgive them. But when it comes to a white person that looks exactly like you, you forgive them, right? Right? You forgive a white man. But if it's a brown person like Modern Sonic, or someone who's autistic, or someone who has seizures, you don't want to forgive them. You would rather sit in your white privilege and continue to dehumanize people because of their autistic behavior. This is who Kitty Paquita is. How can I dehumanize an autistic person while advancing my own success? This is what America has always been since 1619. I had a random person come into my stream today. It was like, the world's fucked up. We can't fix what we can't sow. We can't sow what we have already reaped. Well, maybe if you actually called out the atrocities of the damn planet like I am right now, then maybe we would have had a difference of opinion. But no, you wanted differences of opinion. You wanted, to dehumanize people. You want to dehumanize the brown people. You want to dehumanize the black people. You want to dehumanize the autistics. You want to dehumanize the marginalized. Because you're afraid of a white minority speaking up about your failure as a quote-unquote predator catcher, Kitty Paquita. And that's the reason why we are here as a country. Because people like you and Sped Noodles and Vamprick and many others that voted for Trump in their silence. It's not that they couldn't vote. It's not that they were ineligible to vote. Their silence were the reason why Trump won the election. Now, again, let me teach you about actual history. This is the things Donald Trump has done, yet you're okay with. You voted for a man who is convicted of 34 counts of rape. You're okay with that, right, Kitty Paquita? Because you voted for him in your silence. You're okay with a white supremacist having dinner with white supremacists. You're okay with ICE killing Lorenzo Salgado. You're okay with ICE killing a black woman. You're okay with, dehumanizing Modern Sonic. You're okay with dehumanizing, I don't know, Gia. You're okay with dehumanizing people, right? You're okay with dehumanization. But yet you get mad when a white minority who looks exactly like you calls you out on your bullshit. Because that's what you are. You're a white supremacist. You're not a Christian. You're a modern day Pharisee. You don't love God. You play God. Jesus said to what? Love thy neighbor as thyself. I looked at your page. And yet when I looked at the Kira Got Busted video, all I heard was, hey, you want to talk about IP grabbing? Is this your new address? Doesn't that sound like cyberstalking and cyberbullying? Yet your channel says this does not condone cyberstalking and cyberbullying or witch hunting. And yet you want to blame an autistic person. You're not Christian. Because if you were, you would have been at Mount Calvary, bowing at the cross. But you're not okay with that, right? You're not okay with caring about what Jesus did for all of us. You were not created in the image of God. You were created in the image of Satan, because that's what you are. 77 million idiots would rather not care about the path that Jesus took and rather dehumanize him than rather worship him. You don't love the God of heaven. You love the God of this world because he promised you money. This is Kitty Paquita, y'all. I want to dehumanize Modern Sonic because Trump promised me money. I want to dehumanize Gia, but Trump promised me money. I want to dehumanize Kyle Afton, but he promised me money. I want to dehumanize the quadriplegics, but Trump promised me money. That's what Kitty Paquita, Sped Noodles, Bad Brick, and now Fish Brain is doing. I want to blame somebody else for my shady life because Trump promised me money. This is an irrefutable fact. Kitty Paquita is a white supremacist who is okay with voting for an adjudicated rapist in her silence because she would rather be comfortable with someone that looks like her than rather a black woman. This is who Kitty Paquita is, people. She's okay with dehumanizing gay people. She's okay with dehumanizing trans people. She's okay with dehumanizing Gia. She's okay with dehumanizing Modern Sonic because she wants to blame somebody else for her own shitty life. But she doesn't want to make videos of how she voted for an adjudicated rapist in her silence. She doesn't want to make videos of how her church, of how she left her church because her pastor couldn't say the name of a racist podcaster. This is who Kitty Paquita is, people. Now, I could imagine if Kitty Paquita had a conscience, she would go down to Delaney Hall, the consecration camp in Delaney Center, and say to them, it sucks that you're eating moldy bread and all that other jazz, but vote for me in the midterms. I'll find a way to help out. That's what Kitty Paquita would say. Because she does not care about the morality of the homeless. She doesn't care about the morality of the blind. She says she knows God. Did you see what his hair looks like? You know God, right? What was his shoe color? What was his shoe color? What's his shoe color? What was his robe? Before he came here, what did he rode on? Were you there during the time that Jesus was born? Oh, no, you weren't? Oh, okay, so that makes sense. So you didn't see what he looked like. But yet you want to make it seem that Jesus is a liberal. Because when Jesus comes back, I know Kitty Paquita, I know Vampiric, I know Sped Noodles, and I know pretty much every other YouTuber would literally call Jesus a white liberal, a white socialist, a white, he will call him white. When they don't even know the color of his skin. They won't even know what he looks like. They won't even know how he was treated. Do you know how Jesus was treated? He was wounded, horribly wounded, to the point of unrecognizability. But yet Mary Magdalene came in because she saw her son getting battered and bruised, all because he did not do anything wrong. Yet 77 million idiots decide to say, hey, let me yell at Jesus. Let me yell at him because he's the one that made me like this. No, it wasn't. It was you. You brought yourself into this situation. So, if Kamala Harris was president, do you know where you would have been at right now? If Kamala Harris was president? We would have been at Mount Calvary. All 340 million of us would have been at Mount Calvary right about now. Bowing at the cross, asking, crying, pleading to Jesus for forgiveness. But yet you don't want that. So you voted in your silence for an adjudicated rapist who defends child molesters, who's actively defending Theodore Middendorf, who assaulted a 7-year-old, because you're okay with that in your silence. You're okay with that. This is why I do this. This is why I call people out. This is why I call people like Kitty Paquita and Sped Noodles and Vampiric and many others. Because I am a person of faith. Now, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm just an independent. I'm just a random dude on stream just yapping. But at the same time, I'm speaking the truth and I'm speaking facts because that's who I really am. If you really love the people that the flag represents, Kitty Paquita, as you say you do, then why aren't you talking about Alex Preddy or Renee Good on your YouTube page? Why aren't you talking about, I don't know, the 14 million kids that go to school hungry? Why aren't you talking about the 1.4 million Native Americans that died through the Trail of Tears? Why aren't you talking about the 1.8 million Native Americans that died during the Middle Passage? Why aren't you talking about that? Why aren't you talking about the 3/5 clause? Oh, that's right, because you don't want to be uncomfortable. You went to the crossroads. I'm not calling it the fucking voting booth. You went to the crossroads. You saw two people. One was Jesus and the other was Trump. You thought in your silence that Jesus was going to take away your white privilege. So you chose the white supremacist Donald J. Trump because he promised you money. He promised you more content. He promised you that he will pardon you if you dehumanize people in the name of Trump. It's not about the price of eggs. It's not about the price of gas. It's not about the economy. It's about white supremacy. Donald Trump didn't ran on the economy. He ran on Benito Mussolini, Hitler, and white supremacy. What do Europe have that we don't have? Planetary healthcare, planetary childcare. You can literally live free in Europe. You can literally have a happy life. You could do whatever you want in Europe. Right? But they do crack down on pedophiles much faster than we do. They give them the guillotine. They don't do electric chairs. They don't do lethal injections. They give them the guillotine. That's what effectiveness is. That's why I would rather live in a country that is filled with effectiveness. because they rather be efficient in their works. They rather get the job done. That's why I love Europe so much. And I'm pretty sure Katie Paquita is like, oh, if you don't like America, then maybe you should go to Europe. No, if you don't like America, and if you don't like the way I'm criticizing it, you should find yourself in the Mayflower and ship your ass back to England where you belong, because this has never been a great Christian nation. Go ask a random Muslim. They will say the very same thing that many of the majority of countries will say. For Muslims, they will say this. This country has never benefited me. It has only benefited the people that are not of my color, which is white. This country has only benefited white, trash, sick teeth, inbred incels like you, like Kitty Paquita, like Sped Noodles, like Vampiric, and many others. This country only benefits them. Kitty Paquita loves dehumanizing Modern Sonic because he's black. Kitty Paquita loves dehumanizing Gia because she's Native American. Kitty Paquita loves dehumanizing Portal Tube TV because he's white and Irish. Kitty Paquita loves dehumanizing Maya Glaze because she's somewhat British. This is what Kitty Paquita does on her channel. Matter of fact, let me give you a literal description on what her channel actually looks like. Okay? This is her channel, y'all. Okay? Let me find it. I know her channel name now. Kit Pack Stories. There we go. Right here. Right here. Now, I'm gonna read the description again. Hello, everyone. Your lovely Kitty is here with another story for you. Whether you are new to this library or have been an old member, your presence brings delight to this book of life. Mind you, she mocked the book of life that was written by the Lamb that was slain. Blessed be the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. My stories mostly cover people who are a danger to society and do or have not done damage or have done damage to various communities, especially ones focused on children or child audiences. If media platforms like YouTube refuse to do anything about these dangerous people, then we will. This channel does not condone hate speech, harassment, witch hunting, cyberstalking, and cyberbullying. Our purpose is spreading awareness of the dangerous people so we can take action and make the world a better place while protecting the future generation. Oh, really? Really? Now, let me rephrase it for you. This is Kitty Paquita in a nutshell. Hello, everyone. Your white supremacist Kitty Paquita is here with another drama for you, with another propaganda for you. Whether you are new to this library or have been an old member, your delightfulness brings happiness to this mocked book of life. My propaganda mostly cover people who are quadriplegics, Black, Hispanic, and have done damage to various communities, especially ones focused on children or child audiences. If media platforms like YouTube refuse to do anything about these dangerous people, then I will. This channel does condone hate speech, harassment, witch hunting, cyberstalking, and cyberbullying. My purpose as Kitty Paquita, the white supremacist, is spreading awareness about Black people, about quadriplegics, about autistic people, so we can take action and make the world a better place while protecting my future generation. That's Kitty Paquita for you. And she joined on August 24th of 2024 last year. And ever since then, she has not made videos on YouTube since. But yet she's made videos on Rumble. Because she doesn't want to admit that she herself is a white supremacist. She can make videos about disabled people because she loves to make fun of disabled people. She loves to make fun of autistic people. She loves to make fun of people that are below the spectrum, right? But when it's a white minority, that's when she gets scared. That's when she gets scared. This is Kitty Paquita, y'all. Listen to the cases that she worked on. Portal Tube TV case, because he's white. Koshiba Kudokun case. Timothy case. Tom the Dog. Maya Archives. Yuri, Autumn, Kyle, Vetera, Keith Mario, Neko, Gia, Modern, Adon, Ruby Rose, Tessa, and Kira. That's all the cases she worked on. And half of the cases she worked on is primarily white people. I wonder, Kitty Paquita. Portal Tube TV. He's white. Tom the Dog. He's white. Maya Archives. She's white. Uni. White. Autumn. White. Kyle. White. Aiden. White. Vetera. White. Keith. White. Neko. Probably white. Gia. Native American. Modern. Sonic. Black. Aiden. White. Ruby. White. Tessa. White. And Kira. White. You see a trend? Because I certainly do. Who voted for the Insurrection Act to be invoked? White people. Who voted for the cause of January 6th? White people. Who voted against Zohran Mamdani but voted for Andrew Cuomo to be the mayor of New York? White people. You see a trend, Kitty Paquita? I see a pattern. Kira the Hedgehog, white. Tessa, white. Ruby Rose, white. Adon, white. But then you got tired of white people, so you got tired of disabled white people, so you went after disabled black people. Like pedophile Modern Sonic, disabled black person. Disabled Native American, Gia, you went after her. Neko case.
What's up, my boo?
Disabled white person. Keith Mario, disabled, autistic. Vetera the Rabbit, autistic. Aiden the Liger, autistic. Kyle Afton, autistic. Autumn, autistic. Uni, autistic. Maya, autistic. Tom the Dog, autistic. Timothy, autistic. Koshiba-kun, autistic. Portal Tube, autistic. Autistic. Nothing about Lorenzo Salgado. Nothing about Renee Good. Nothing about Alex Pretty. All these cases that Kitty Paquita has worked on is mainly autistic people. All these videos is mainly white autistic people. Some Native American, some black, some white, and heck, even some Hispanic. Nothing about Renee Good or Alex Pretty. Nothing about those people, because she does not care about morality and decency. You want to dehumanize autistics on your channel. But you don't want to do that, right? Because now that YouTube is not doing anything for you, you want to go to Rumble, which is like YouTube, which condones cyber stalking, which condones hate speech, which condones promoting terrorism. This is who Kitty Paquita is. This is who Kitty Paquita is. She is a white supremacist. She's a white supremacist. That's who she is. And if you don't like how I'm criticizing you, Kitty Paquita, then you can find your ass on the Mayflower and ship your ass back to England where you belong, because this has never been a great country. The reason why you think this country is great is because it benefits you. Because you're white. You left your church because your pastor wouldn't say the name of a racist podcaster. That's why God kicked you out of his church. That's why God kicked you out of his church. Because your pastor couldn't say the name of a racist podcaster. So maybe when you make videos, how about you make videos how you're okay with, voting for an adjudicated rapist in the White House? Maybe make videos on how you were dehumanizing brown people and black people and supporting Nazis and supporting terrorism. Because you're okay with that, right, Kitty Paquita? That's why you have the Make America Great Again hat. I'm pretty sure you have it in your room, right? Crazy. Yeah. Oh, you don't like it when a white minority calls you out. But when it's a brown person, that's when you get your pussy wet, right? You get your pussy wet by making false assumptions about autistic black people, about autistic Native Americans. But you don't want to make videos about yourself because that's who you are. You're a white supremacist. You literally had the audacity to make videos about every single person, yet you couldn't make a video about Donald J. Trump, who literally was best friends with the most notorious sex trafficker in all of history, Jeffrey Epstein. So how about next time when you actually start YouTube, when you actually come back to YouTube, how about you actually perform like Jake Paul did when he said, Logan Paul, when he said, I have made a severe lack of knowledge and have clouded my judgment. Watch what's going to happen on Judgment Day, Kitty Paquita. You are going to be asked, when and in what time frame did you shred a care for humanity? Because all I see on your YouTube page is you talking about black people, Native American people, and your skin. And people who look like you. White. But never about yourself. Maybe next time you should start learning actual history instead of white history. Have yourself a white day.